Thank
Lovely
you.
having you here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for this conversation.
Pleasure. And I think I was reading the book. I was absolutely stunned because there is so much of um, uh, there's so much of drama. There's so much of violence. There's so much of vengeance that is happening. But still, there is an underlying current of a lot of spirituality, morality, and philosophy. So I was very astounded by the fact that when I read this, that despite all of this violence happening, so much of valor and courage being shown, but how do you bring that morality into picture? Maybe when you talk about that, dharma is something that is also very conventional. So I would like to start this conversation on
Very
that
good.
note.
Very good question. And you run a. I'm not surprised that a very intelligent question came from someone who runs a book club, and actually among the largest book clubs from what I know. Um, there's an impression that we have in the modern day. Ah, please. Thank you. Oat milk wala? Thank you. I turned 50 last year, and among the things, how many are above 50? Yeah, so what happens apparently is after 50, your body starts changing. Sometimes you develop new allergies. I used to love milk, man. I had coffee with milk. I used to have a glass of milk every morning. Suddenly, I became allergic to milk and lactose intolerant. So I have to drink coffee with oat milk. Who said very good? Yeah. So I have to drink coffee with oat milk. I really love coffee, but with oat milk. Hmm. So the thing on non-violence, there's a impression that is there in modern India. It's happened in the last 100 years around. That non-violence is the ultimate dharma, and which is true, but partially. India has had the oldest pacifist traditions. Ani, right? Okay. Oh, you guys hear me at the back of it? Oh, now? Oh, okay. Do I need to repeat it or you guys heard? Huh? Okay. That it is true that non-violence is, uh, uh, and our ancestors said, ahimsa paramo dharma. But that is not the only part of the truth. Um, we've had the oldest pacifist tradition in history. Jainism is essentially that under no circumstances can you be violent. Jainism is very clear on that. And it's a part of the, Jainism is a dharmic religion, part of the dharmic group of religions. But often, whenever we hear that line, ahimsa paramo dharma, we forget that there's a line that comes after that as well. Dharma hinsa tathaiv. That violence to protect dharma, and dharma is not religion, dharma is above religion. Violence to protect dharma is okay, is good. So our ancestors were clear that non-violence leads to a good society. Random violence. If our culture has survived when foreign invaders attack, you need your warriors to fight them, right? So all of us who are ordinary citizens, we have no right to get violent. We have no right to take the law in our own hands. But if there's a soldier at the border, and say someone from our north, we know which that country is, or someone from our west, where in that case it may not be a soldier, it may be a terrorist. If those guys attack, should our soldiers quote the beautiful texts of Jainism and Anekantavad, or should they pick up a gun and shoot the guy? What should they do? What do you think? Shoot, right? Because that guy is not going to understand Anekantavad. He's going to shoot, right? This is the balance that is required for a stable society. If you're not willing to fight to protect that which is precious, someone will fight to loot that which is precious. And our society is precious. So every society needs its warriors. And why do you need dharma? Because if you don't have warriors, circumscribed by dharma, they will also become the monsters who attack you. Right? If your warriors have no ankush, everyone knows what an ankush is? Or an elephant? Which you put, which keeps the elephant. It's actually very minor. If you think about it, that ankush doesn't really hurt the elephant at all. The elephant has just learned from a young age to obey that ankush. In a way, dharma, a warrior's dharma, is that ankush on a warrior. That warrior will not become a monster who will attack society. That warrior will become like that elephant with the ankush of dharma to defend society. And my mic has gone again. We will just keep. Hello? Wire. Yeah, wireless at the end of the day, no, I'm telling you.
I think it got off.
Hello? Did it work now?
I think it should. No.
Hello.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to stick to the wire. I'm old world, I'm sticking to the wire. I'm not letting go of this wire. Okay. Yeah, so that's my answer. So, which is why you need dharma in all parts of society.
Yeah.
If you don't have the ankush on dharma on businessmen, then businessmen become like how actually many Western businessmen have become, looting their countries for their profits. Right? Businessmen also need the ankush of dharma, so that yes, they can earn profits, but do charity for the good of society. Warriors also need that ankush of dharma, so that they use their skills to protect society. Intellectuals also need the ankush of dharma, so that they are not making inventions which they know will destroy society. Right? That's why dharma is actually required. And dharma is not religion. It's often erroneously translated as religion. A thing that you again see from history books written from the British Raj onwards. Not necessarily true of the history books that we wrote, that our ancestors wrote. Again, we were told this thing that our ancestors didn't write. I'm sure you've heard that, right? Oh, we were an oral culture.
Yeah.
We didn't really write too much. You know, the British came and saved us and taught us how to write. When the actual fact, if you look at history, okay, Indians wrote a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Our ancestors, okay, just to give you a sense of perspective, I love doing this quiz. As even the Western Europeans say, Greece is their mother culture. Greece begat Rome, Greco-Roman, and then all the European cultures, America, all of it descended from there. Earlier, you know, before the printing press, they used to write by hand, right? The manuscripts. The number of Greek handwritten manuscripts that survive till today is between 20 to 25,000. Okay, and that's a good number. Because remember, they used to write. Printing books is much easier, right? They used to write by hand. 20 to 25,000 manuscripts, Greek, ancient manuscripts, handwritten, survive till today. Guess how many Sanskrit handwritten manuscripts survive till today, according to the National Mission of Manuscripts. This despite the destruction of Nalanda, Takshashila, Vikramshila, where the libraries were so big that burnt for a month, right? Guess how many Sanskrit manuscripts survive till today? 25,000 Greek, yeah, our comparative culture. Anyone wants to take a guess? 1 lakh. Who said? 1 lakh. Want to go higher? 25 lakhs. 25 lakhs. What do you think? Has he quoted too much? Even higher. Okay. There are more manuscripts coming out now according to the National Mission. Manuscript is really, really interesting and good to see. You know, because we've absorbed a certain model of what an emperor is supposed to be in the last 1,000 years. Okay. Remember the Turks, they were Turks, but their culture was actually Persianate, right? They were all Turks. The Mughals, we call them Mughals, actually they call themselves Timurid. Yeah, they didn't call themselves Mughal. We call them Mughal. And who was Timur? Anyone knows? He was a Turk. He came to India, to Delhi once, but he was basically a Turk. So they were descendants of Timur. The Delhi Sultans were also Turks, right? But the culture was Persianate. The language they spoke was Persian. They spoke Persian and Turk, but the writing was in Persian. Anyway, the Persianate approach to the emperor was very different. And again, similar in some ways to the European approach as well.
where the king was like absolute. The king just decides, right? And then everyone just follows. There are no property rights. If the land is not claimed by anyone, automatically the king owns it, right? This is not the way it was in India. Okay, even up to ancient times, the king always had. There was a sabha that would advise him, and he couldn't just do whatever the hell he wanted to. And we had queens as well. She couldn't do anything that she wanted to as well. There were guidelines that had to be followed. It wasn't just dharma, there were systems as well, right? You'll notice that unlike in many other empires where the largest building was usually the palace, right? You'll notice among Indian rulers, largest building was never the palace. What was it usually? It was a temple. And the temple was not, like I said, not just a place of worship. They had education institutions, Kalyan Mandapa, everything around there. They were public places, right? That was usually the model that we had. This is negative. And again, not a part of our tradition, right? At times, not always, at times there's been fights between Vaishnavas and Shaivites as well. It has happened. And again, our gods teach us about this. How many Vaishnavas here do you know the Vishnu Sahasranam? Yeah? One of the names listed, Vishnu Sahasranam is 1,000 names of Lord Shiva. One of the names listed for Lord Vishnu there is Shiva, right? And how many have read the Shaivite Puranas and the 1,008 names of Shiva? One of the names listed out there for Lord Shiva is Vishnu. Right? Our gods are also teaching us something. Let's stop these silly fights, right? It really is as silly as that schoolyard fight. My daddy is strongest, or which is kind of silly, because they don't really think that way. And we must learn that not just for our gods, but for everything. Of course, I love my language. There's no need to hate another language. Of course, I love my country. There's no need to hate another country. Unless that country attacks us, like our western neighbor, okay, then we fight, okay? But there's no need to hate them, right? Because if you hate them, you're just occupying your mind with them. You fight them when you have to, then boss, you stay away. I'll carry on with myself, right? So that balance should be there. Just because you're devoted to something, you don't have to hate something else, which is not the object of your devotion, right?
Wow. I think that sums it up. Pretty.
I love my wife tremendously. That doesn't mean all other wives are useless.
Okay, we are stepping on harsh waters. All right, so.
Good question. How my research process works is like I'm just researching all the time. I have no idea what book it will go into. So I read at least 5-6 books per month. I've been reading at that pace for decades. And I mainly read non-fiction. Okay. So it's a bit like I'm buying all possible ingredients because I have no idea what will go into the meal. That's up to Lord Shiva. So my job is to just learn as much as I can. Right. Then I travel a great deal as well. And whenever we travel, we like to travel as locals, try and learn some things about the local things. And all that also, kind of adds to your knowledge. You can read about the Brihadeshwara temple, or you can read about Gangaikonda Chodapuram, but when you go out there, man, it blows your mind away, right? So how many of you have been to Gangaikonda Chodapuram? Or practically everyone. Those who haven't, it's right next door. Go. Man, fantastic temple, fantastic places to learn so much about our history. So I travel a great deal as well. Then all of this just goes somewhere in the back of the mind. Then it'll come into the book when Lord Shiva wills it. But Mahmud Ghazni and Emperor Rajan Choda were in the same time. So it's sort of broad historical facts, but you have to bring in some fiction.
And I think, Amish, such a fascinating conversation that we are having. But I'm sure, a lot of people will have a lot of questions and we have less time. So we'll
especially since I don't have a mic.
Yeah. So we will.
And I have to do many more events. Sorry. Okay, we'll just answer one last question and then that's it. Whichever one you pick, and then I'll start signing. Whoever you pick. Whoever you pick. Pick one. Yes.
Yeah.
So, from an established writer to a
Most important advice.
Write for your heart. Okay. See, the thing with any creative field, and it's true of all creative, not just writing, movies, everything. True of sports as well. 0.1, 0.2% make more money than they ever dreamt possible. Even more money than a banker. Even more money than an investment banker. 99.8% don't make enough money to pay the bills at the end of the month. This is true of writing, this is true of movies, this is true of... It's a reality, right? So don't get into it if your aim is fame and money. Okay? If the aim is money, trust me, the boring industries actually pay a lot more, right? Ball bearings, cleaning services, man, they're millionaires. And a plumber in the UK will make 150,000 pounds. Okay, that's 1.5 crores. A writer, trust me, average writer, 10,000 pounds. Okay, so if your aim is to make money, boring stuff works well. Why should you get into writing? It's the voice of your soul, right? That is the purpose. Be clear on that. Then, whether it works or doesn't work, that's up to Lord Shiva, whatever god, goddess you worship. Or if you're an atheist, it's up to the universe. Yeah? But write with your heart. Okay.
Thank you, Amish.